My name is Pauline Kihara. I am the head of in-flight and catering. So basically what that means is I take care of our cabin crew on board, all the cabin crew, as well as our catering. And our catering is anything that goes on board in terms of our meals, our drinks.
My name is Rispa Chebet. I am a flight purser with Kenya Airways. I've been in Kenya Airways for the last 17 years and I'm glad to be here.
My name is Dixon Nyibule and I am a flight purser for Kenya Airways. I have been a flight attendant for 38 years and it's a journey that has been very fruitful and successful, and I'm very happy to be here.
My name is Ruth Mwaura. I'm assistant flight purser. That's the second in command in the rank of cabin operations. And I'm also a cabin safety officer. So I do hold 2 positions in Kenya Airways.
It's a dream of every girl to be an air hostess. It has been my dream. That's why I pursued French. And it's been an amazing journey, coming from a cabin crew to a senior flight attendant, growing all the way to flight purser rank, which is the highest rank in the cabin. It's an amazing journey and I love it.
I never thought much about being a flight attendant, but I liked the glamour of the flying and everything. And I thought maybe this is something that I could do, but I was just trying it out. I did psychology and music, and I did French as part of an additional. And I decided, why not apply? I saw this application at the back of the newspaper. And you know, those days you think that you actually need to know someone so that you can win KQ, but apparently not. So I applied. I think it was 1.5 years later, I got called.
What?
Yes, 1.5 years later, I got called. And I think that call is what I remember. It was from a guy called Tim, and he told me, "Hi, Ruth." I was like, "Hi, this is Tim from Kenya Airways," and everything just stopped. Everything, whatever I was doing, just stopped.
It could come as a surprise, but initially I was thinking of becoming a journalist. I even started writing some books while I was in the lower schools, primary, and then I also wanted to travel, but it wasn't necessarily as a crew, but I had a lot of passion because I also like reading a lot. So you know, when you read, your mind is exposed to foreign countries. So I wanted to at least visit, because you pick an interest when you read. Yeah, so at that time a lot of this was books which were based on the UK. So I really wanted to visit the United Kingdom, and I thought that at one stage I will save enough money. I didn't know I would come and fly. I thought I would just save enough money because fortunately by the time we were still in school, job opportunities were there. So I knew whichever job I could get, so long as I passed my schools, I will be able to save money and then maybe at least fly once to the United Kingdom and see how London was and the areas I've been reading. So that is how I got an interest into thinking of at least flying, but not as a crew. But then that one dovetailed very nicely because just when I was finishing my A levels, there was an advertisement on nation newspapers. I didn't know about it. My colleagues are the ones who called me. And then they told me, Mr. Nyibule, you've been talking of traveling. There's something in the nation, have a look. And so that is how I came to apply for this job.
My first flight was on the 1st of June.
You remember the day?
Yes, and it was to Mombasa as an intern, basically. Then I was an intern. And it was a very funny experience because I was serving passengers and I'm like, these people are so fast. My colleagues were so fast, and I'm like, because I would take almost 5 minutes on one passenger. Good evening, because it was a night flight to Mombasa, 6 to 4. Good evening. My name is so would you like to have a glass of juice or whatever? And by that time, my colleagues would remind me, remember it's 45 minutes flight, because I'm treating it like a London flight. And I had a cold, so top of descent, my ears were popping. So, but it was a good experience. Upon landing, I was screaming. I was like, oh, this was so nice. It was good. It's not that easy. It was that hard, but I've learned a lot.
I had a flight to Johannesburg.
Your first flight?
My first flight.
No way.
It was going and coming back, but it was the first time I was leaving the country, and I felt like, wait, I called everyone. I was like, guys, I'm going to South Africa. I'm actually going to South Africa. And for me, it was just exciting that I was going to get into an aircraft and just fly. I never thought of the job, what we do. It was just getting into an aircraft. For me, it was something big. There's so much more than flying. There's a lot of safety. We are so many things. We are nurses. We get to be doctors sometimes. We are security agents. We are safety officers. We get to be therapists sometimes, you know. There's so many things that we are everything when we're in that aircraft.
The moment you close those doors, if you have 200 passengers or 300 passengers or 50 passengers, there's no pit stop. There is nothing except you. You have to deal with it. If the flight is 14 hours, if the flight is 10 hours, if the flight is 1 hour, if the flight is 30 minutes, whatever happens, it can be an emergency of any kind. You have to deal with it.
We had a passenger who fainted, and we had to do the first aid, which is to elevate the legs and cover to treat. We call it treating for shock. So you elevate the legs to allow the blood to flow from the legs to the head, which is to make the passenger stable. That was the one experience.
I've had only one safety incident in Kenya Airways, and this happened in Kigali, and we had to evacuate the passengers. So as much as it was on ground and we were boarding passengers, and all of a sudden you hear a command that is not normal for you. So there are those commands that we flight attendants, once you hear them, you know, something. Yes, it activates something in your brain completely. So we had attention crew at station, evacuate. Stopped everything you're doing. We're in the middle of boarding passengers. Run to your door, prepare that door for evacuation. So it just comes instantly.
We are just not what you see in uniform. We are mothers, we are farmers, we are philosophers, we are poets. So cabin crew have they're human beings just like any other.
Generally, I'm a happy person. I love music, so I listen to a lot of music. In fact, before I go to work, I have a set playlist for what I'm doing. I take it, oh my goodness, this will make people judge me. I am very random. I'll wake up on a certain day, I love rock. Then I secretly love reggae. Secretly love reggae. People don't believe I love reggae, but yes, I do love reggae. I'll listen to rock. But on my off days, I also do golf. Yeah, I golf. That takes me away from all the pressure. Actually, that's my way of, like today I'd have been golfing.
Wishful plan.
That was my plan, yeah.
I love walking, climbing mountain, not really big mountains, but hills. Where I stay, it's hilly. It's a hilly area, so I love doing like 3-hour walk of 22 kilometers. You know, I do lots of that, and that one just declutters my mind. Whenever I'm depressed or feeling stressed, I do a walk to the Ngong Hills. That when I come back, I'm on my element.
One of the things that propelled me to stop flying was because I was a mother. So I was missing out on a lot of milestones. Doesn't mean that I didn't love my job, but you know, growth-wise, it was more important to parent my kids than flying, because when you fly, you're away from home for a very long time.
Now the challenge is being away from home, especially on special days. If you're a young family, obviously there are times when you will miss some pointers in the growth of maybe your children, especially because you're not there every day.
I can say that's the downside of this job sometimes, because you rarely get to balance, but you get to be comfortable with it later on. I know that sometimes you can't be 100% where you want.
My first priority is my family. My family comes first. I ensure wherever I'm going, I bring them gifts.
So for a social life, I won't speak for everybody, but personally for myself, you get very few friends. Most people don't understand how your job schedule is because you're always in and out, in and out. But the good thing about it is that you maintain the true friends that you actually can. Family, you have to have a very understanding family. But your kids do go through it. My kids go through it, and they understand that mom has to be away sometimes. And when I come back, I try and give them at least 100% of my time to compensate.
You'll come back eventually. Maybe the longest you can stay up could be a week, but you miss that small portion.
There's a time I missed a sports day for my son, and he was distraught. It made me really feel like I had let him down.
I think for me, it is, if that was a sacrifice, it was a sacrifice worth taking, yeah. Because my life has been a beautiful journey.
Basically, support system works. If you have a support system, that's a very good thing to have. Not everybody has that support system, so you can have a close friend, run-to friend. So that person knows when you're away, then they're the next person. Then I call them the next command, chain of command, so they take it up.
One thing I believe, especially when you're a leader, is that you need to motivate the people you're working with. So I have to make sure I'm approachable as well, so that they find that they can talk to me. And even how I correct them has to be in a way that I understand the kind of person they are and how they would want to be corrected.
As John Maxwell says, leadership stops with the leader. Everything stops with the leader. So that means even when someone else has found a situation, a passenger who's fainted or something way beyond them, they have to communicate with me. All crew are empowered to handle all the situations because we go through the same training. However, everything stops with the leader. So as much as the crew are able to handle the situation, they get back to me, and I'm able to go back and assess, did they do it the best way? Is this the best that we could have done? Or is there something else we could do?
It's a job that can get you places. You meet people you never thought you would ever meet. You make good connections. It's a beautiful place to be, but only if someone knows exactly what they are getting into.
It is the best career to do. If I wasn't a crew, I would be a nurse, but if I was told to choose another career, I'd still choose a cabin crew. I'll still be a cabin crew. I'll still be a flight attendant. I encourage anybody who feels they're empathetic, they have the best interest of others, not only yours. Yes, it's good to have your best interest at heart, but if you have the best interest of others at heart, you can be a very good cabin crew, empathetic, loving, caring, going out of the way to make one comfortable. I'll encourage them to apply, and Kenya Airways is the best place to apply and work.